Okay, so the question asks, evaluate your causes and consequences of the Green Revolution from the period from 1945 to the present. One of the causes is that people are hungry. One of the consequences is that there's an increase in food production. Please tell me another consequence.
The soil got ruined.
Okay, so there were environmental effects. Is that just one doc? Or is there more than one doc with that?
I think there's two. It's document 3.
All right, how about if we just write it like this? And then within the negative effects, we could talk about soil erosion, more water needed for the seeds. There are social issues that are bad for that.
What about an increase in wealth?
Okay, so that could be another one, right? An increase in wealth for farmers. So right now we have 3 consequences and 1 cause, which is fine because we've answered the question. All right, I'm not going to read this because you just had family time with your new groups, and so I'm just going to make sure that you have the right answer, right? So this one up top, doc 1 top, is that there's an increase in wheat yields. Right? And that if you wanted to go into a little more detail with that, you could probably say something to the effect of Mexico's increase was larger than India. You could say India was more steady of an increase without the pitfalls, so all these little down things are pitfalls. I don't think you need to say anything like that. Really, just using the document that there's an increase in wheat yields in Mexico and India is enough. Going to this one right here, we have a period of time right here where the food supply was barely meeting the needs of the population. And then we have this period of time where the population is more than the food. When is that?
Right before the Green Revolution.
Okay, so it is the Great Depression. And World War II, right? Because it goes almost to 1940. It doesn't change to this where there is a surplus of food. Until the Green Revolution. So there's an increase in food supply and an increase in population. So food supply was barely meeting the needs of the population, leads to people being hungry. You could use this document, especially the bottom graph, in more than one group. All right. Doc 2 is a blank document. Somebody fill in the blank. What do we know about the time frame of 1949? Okay, so it's a Cold War document. I need you people to hear that the United States does nothing out of the kindness of our hearts. Right? This is not, oh, the poor starving people. Let us help them so that we can just help them. Right? It's not that. What is it?
We want something.
Oh, it says right here, the exploitation of foreign profit has no place in our plans. We don't want anything in return. Look at us. We're so idealistic. Okay, so their poverty is a handicap and a threat, right? We have this idea that there are free peoples who are in need. If this is a Cold War doc, what is he saying? So, if these poverty-stricken, poverty is a handicap threat to free peoples, it's that if we don't help them, they will. Who's the they? The communists, right? The USSR. So, this is a Cold War doc. And that this is a fight against communism. Right? We must stop communism. What is Truman's idea about this? He had a policy. What was it? You read your stuff for today. What is it? What do you have? Which was within it was a policy of what? The containment policy, right? By recognizing this, and going, oh, it's a Cold War doc. Oh, the United States wants to help so that the USSR won't help. That's containing communism. That's stopping poor people from getting help from communists because we, the pillar on the hill, we are helping them. So this, right, is that the USA is superior and we must help. Right? We must help to stop them, the USSR, from helping first. This have aspirations of a better life, right? It's kind of a Nike commercial, like be like Mike. It's like be like the USA. Who's speaking? Who is he? Okay, he's the president of the United States, so he's the president of what? The free world, right? Like all free countries, all democracy is led by Truman. And so this inaugural address, this is filled with promises that good times are coming, especially if you're Democratic, especially if you're on our side. Us versus them. Your little containment policy throw in, adding that we have to get there first so the USSR doesn't get there, is very much EBD because it's not anywhere in that document. But if you know Truman and you know what he was about, it was to stop communism. Questions? What makes that not understandable? Were any of you close? Kind of. Okay. Doc 3. This dude won the Nobel Peace Prize, right? And he won it for this study on Green Revolution. And that this is part of his acceptance speech. Right? For that study. And that basically, why is he saying that, poor developing countries, their Nutrients are bad. Their plants are bad. Poor developing countries. Why? What do you got?
To make it seem like his idea is going to change all that.
I don't think so. I think that he's like placing blame with somebody because of what? Like, who left to lead these developing countries after World War II? They're imperialist colonizers, right? Like, this is after or during decolonization, and these developing countries have been raped and pillaged by their colonizers and then left for broke. And so he's saying that it's because of imperialism that this is why the soil is like this. For this underprivileged, hunger has been a constant, right? This is your people are hungry. You just have to point that out. That's going to be part of the document for causes. That's going to be part of what you have for that. Question?
Could it also be maybe because it's just poor environment in general? Like, it's just.
Yeah, but why is it poor? It's not just, nothing's poor in general. It's poor in general because of something. And it's because that their imperial oppressors have not planted back what they've taken. So if they took all the rubber, if they took all of the let's say sugar, and they haven't put nutrients back into the soil, that soil is not going to produce anything else. So it's not because of nothing. So this is basically telling you that the Green Revolution is good, right? The Green Revolution has solved hunger. But he's saying, watch out. That population increase must be slowed. This is a potential problem of having enough food. He's saying, watch out. It's a temporary success. Hunger is solved. Go to Doc 4. Oh, I like this one. Why is he saying these words at this time?
Protect his job.
Okay, protect his job. That could be part of it. Promoting India?
GR.
Well, it is an interview.
Okay, so is it just India he's promoting then?
Farmers.
So he's promoting the farmers. What's he in charge of? The farmers, right? And so, people, this is totally, look what I did for my region. Look what I was in charge of for this. This is pride. No, he's not campaigning for anything. He's already in the position. It's pride for the success of the Green Revolution in India under his watch. So my one class today said, oh, that's propaganda. This isn't like government issued statement. This is a him issued statement, right? Like it's a he. I'm in charge. Is he going to say anything bad about himself?
No.
Or his work?
No.
No. So, right here, I want you to write, not going to say bad things about what he is in charge of. Or his country. Right? Like he's a native. He's from India. He pioneered this, so that means that he's the first So that's pride for the success that the Green Revolution had because it happened under his watch. Okay, why is Dula talking?
He's jealous of the riches of the farmers.
How'd you know that? Because she is. She's throwing shade here. And that she's some saving. Can you just hear her? She's seething. She's angry. She's like, it's not me who's getting rich. So I'm really happy you saw that because my other two classes did not see that. So unless you talked to the other two classes today,
No, I didn't.
okay, just checking. She's jealous. Right? Because money is not coming to her. Right? Like she is not an official and her husband is not a farmer. So this one could have gone into the group, Green Revolution is good. It increases food supply and wealth. Look, they get wealthy. Farmers get wealthy. So they get to go to USA to shop. Not me. She is sad. Right? It makes you rich. Farmers get rich. So, it's all about money, right?
Oh, yeah.
That the money does not get spent in Mexico. Therefore, no money, no increase in taxes. Equals no increase in money for officials. Right? She doesn't get money. Poor Mrs. Dula. So, the year we read this, the kids knew that the Green Revolution, a consequence of the Green Revolution was that farmers got rich. They used the document right, but they did not feel the shade she was throwing, right? Like the sourcing was not right. They said something about her, whatever. But unless you can see that she's jealous or that she's throwing shade, it doesn't work. Doc 6. It contradicts Doc 4. Right? This is 20 years after Doc 4, and that this is looking at long-term effects. Right? So she's a native. She's a scientist, obviously educated. And that this right here, the bottom line is that the Green Revolution is a failure. Because small farmers decrease small farmers. There's an increase in poverty. There's an increase in conflict. and that the new seeds need a lot of water. Those are environmental effects. Right? So increase in large business is a thing. Yeah. Doc 7. This is Indian government report that the peasants are not dirt poor anymore. Right, that they're not dirt poor anymore, and that there's a demand, right? So that we want or expect education and stuff, and I'm going to write the word stuff in quotes because we don't use the word stuff. Right? Consumer goods is what I'm talking about there. But that there is a family organization shift. And according to the traditionalists, that's not a good thing. Right? So we have this this shift in family organization. And that social impact on tradition equals a bad effect of Green Revolution. Oops, sorry. So, I give you that overview because you've already annotated on your docs. How many of you feel that you had 5 of the 7 right on? 5 of the 7, you exactly had it. How about 4 of 7? How about 3 of 7? How about 2 of 7? 1 of 7? Okay. So I would expect that